Persephone isn't just a springtime goddess, she's also the boss of the underworld. In this video, we'll explore all about Persephone's double life, her love story with Hades, and her family drama with her parents, Zeus and Demeter. Plus, we'll discover why she's super important, not just in old myths but for us today. But why should we care about an ancient goddess? Because Persephone's story is like our life story, full of ups and downs, love, loss, and fresh starts. By getting to know her, we learn cool secrets about handling life's tough bits and enjoying the good times, lessons that are totally useful for everyone, even now. Persephone's life story is pretty much linked with another big name in Greek myth, Hades, and their romance is one of the deepest and most touching in all of those old stories. It's so famous that it's mentioned in adventures of heroes like Hercules, Orpheus, and the guy who had to roll a boulder up a hill forever, Sisyphus. The Greeks had different names for her. One was kind of scary, Destroy Slay, but she was also known as Kor, which is a lot friendlier and connects her with the young, fresh vibes of springtime. When the Romans told her story, they changed her name to Proserpina and said she was in charge of some really serious goddesses called the Erinyes. But no matter what, everyone knew her as Demeter's daughter. Demeter was all about farming and food, and sometimes people would call them the two Demeters because they were like a mother-daughter team for everything related to agriculture. Being the queen down in the underworld, people respected Persephone a lot, and they would call her nice things like the Pure One or the Great Goddess. Because in those times, it was important to keep the gods happy by calling them impressive names. But there's more to Persephone than just making crops grow. She did help her mom with that, but she was also kind of like a queen next to Hades down in the underworld. She wasn't just sitting on a throne though. She was super kind and would often help heroes who ended up there, protecting them from Hades when he got angry. Now, talking about her family, Persephone had some pretty famous parents. Her mom, Demeter, was the one making sure people had enough food to eat, and that the whole circle of life thing kept spinning. She's pretty well known because of Persephone's story. Her dad was Zeus, who's basically the boss of all the gods on Mount Olympus. He pops up in a ton of different myths. The reason we have seasons, according to this myth, is all because of what happened to Persephone. Hades, who was in charge of where people went after they died, saw her one day when she was out collecting beautiful flowers and, thanks to Aphrodite making him fall head over heels, decided he had to marry her. He took her to his kingdom, which was all shadows and no sunlight. When Demeter realized her daughter was missing, she was beyond worried. She searched high and low, but no luck. Then Hermes, who was like the messenger god, told her what Hades had done. But even that didn't help Demeter find her. She was so sad that she went to stay in a temple built for Persephone and stopped making the crops grow, so there was less food around. That's when Zeus, who's sort of the president of the gods, realized he had to do something. He sent Hermes down to try and convince Hades to let Persephone go. Hades seemed to agree, but he was sneaky and made Persephone eat some pomegranate seeds. Eating food from the underworld was a big deal. It meant she had to stay there for part of each year. But they struck a bargain. She'd spend some time with Hades and the rest back on Earth. The ancient Greeks believed that's why we have seasons. Everything comes to life when she comes back, like in spring and summer, and gets all cold and dead when she leaves, in fall and winter. Hades and Persephone's love story is a bit like Zeus and Hera's. Zeus, king of gods, and Hades were brothers but ruled different places. Zeus was in charge of the sky and Olympus, while Hades had the underworld. Both tricked their ladies into marrying them. Hades used food, while Zeus turned into a cute bird to attract Hera after she said no to him for so long. But they loved their wives. Zeus, however, liked to flirt a lot, making Hera mad. Hades was all about Persephone, never cheating, and they were happy together. While Hera got back at Zeus by hurting his other girlfriends, Persephone was different. She helped people in the underworld and supported Hades. She had powers others didn't. The story's not just about gods and their drama. It's about how things in nature work: love, trickery, and family. It's a tale that's been told for thousands of years, showing how people tried to make sense of the world around them, like why we have seasons. Funny enough, Hades, known as the scary underworld king, was a one-woman guy. Unlike his brother. This ancient soap opera shows that even gods had messy lives, but through these stories, the Greeks taught lessons about loyalty, love, consequences, and hope. Every spring, it was like Persephone was coming back home, making everything alive again. It's a reminder that even after dark times, there's light and new beginnings. And that's why this old story still matters today. It's not just about gods, it's about us. Persephone's story is incomplete without mentioning her kids. She didn't just help balance nature. She was a mom too. Though not often talked about, her children played roles in various myths. Her son with Zeus, Zagros, had a tough fate. Titans tore him apart, but then reborn, showing that, like his mom, he was linked to the cycle of life and death. Her daughter, Melino, was the goddess of ghosts, which makes sense since her dad was the Underworld's boss. Even though Persephone was always protected by her mom, she eventually became a mother herself, having 2 kids, a daughter named Melino and a son named Zagros. Melino was pretty spooky because she was the goddess of ghosts. She'd bring scary dreams to people she visited. Most folks from ancient times believed she was the daughter of Persephone and Hades, but some stories twist a bit, saying Zeus dressed up like Hades to trick Persephone, and that's how Melino came about. She was unique looking, half of her body was black, and the other half was white, showing her connection to both the bright sky above and the dark underworld. Zagros had a different story. His name means great hunter, and he was linked to some special religious practices called Orphic mysteries. Here's the drama. Zeus turned into a snake to woo Persephone, and that's how Zagros was born. After his birth, Zeus was so proud he put Zagros on the throne of heaven and even gave him his thunderbolts. But things went south when Hera, Zeus's wife, got the Titans to turn on Zagros, leading to a pretty tragic end for him. However, his story didn't end there. Zeus saved Zagros' heart, and it became part of a drink that a woman named Semele consumed, leading to the birth of another god, Dionysos. Now, because Persephone was all about springtime, she was linked to lots of spring-like symbols. Think about things like flower crowns, plants, cute animals, and fresh smells, anything that made you think of new life. These were all connected to Persephone because, according to the myths, life on Earth kind of hit the resume button every year when she came back from the underworld. She had a couple of main symbols. Pomegranates were a big one because of the whole eating the seeds incident with Hades. And then there's the narcissus flower, the one she was picking when she was kidnapped. But there's another important plant, the asphodel. These are flowers you can find in Europe and the Middle East, and they were tied to ideas about death and the afterlife in Greek thinking. You'd often see pictures of Persephone rocking a bunch of these flowers, showing that even in a place as grim as the underworld, life could still be found. Persephone was a total standout in Greek mythology. She had reach and power that most other gods just didn't. The story of her and Hades has stuck with us, becoming one of the tales we still tell because it's full of love, drama, and deep meanings about life, death, and the changing of the seasons. It reminds us of the cycle of nature and life's resilience, symbolized by Persephone's annual return, which brings spring's renewal. Her journey from innocence as a maiden to becoming the queen of the underworld and a mother reflects profound life transitions, enduring love, and the continual cycle of growth and decay, themes still relevant today. How do you think the story of Persephone reflects human nature's complexities and contradictions? Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe for more.